Hello, friends. This is Mac Payne, founder, owner, and operator of the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast, where we bring you news about the Vietnam War and the brave veterans who served there, as told to you by yours truly, a Vietnam veteran. In this short video, I come to announce I have just published a new episode to my podcast. This one is number 3241. I encourage you to go and listen to it because it has a very heartwarming story about how Vietnam veterans who served in Vietnam as 11 Bravos, which, if you're not familiar with military lingo, that is the infantry MOS. Most all those guys who served in Vietnam as a 11 Bravo, which meant they were out on the front lines fighting every day. When you do that, you tend to bond with your fellow soldiers in your unit. That's what this podcast episode is all about. There were two young men who served in both the 1st Infantry Division and the 1st Cav Division who bonded closely. Sadly, one of those young men died in Vietnam and the other one survived. To this day, the survivor, Doug Miller, feels strongly about the loss of his good friend, Harold McDonald, and Doug wants to make sure that his friend Harold will always be remembered. That's one of the reasons I published this podcast episode, was to help Doug Miller make sure we all remember his good friend, Harold McDonald. That's what it's all about, and this young man gave his life for his country over in Vietnam, and we should remember him. So please, go over to the podcast website and listen to episode 3241 and show your respects to this fine young man who gave his life for his country too soon. I have made it easy for you to find that episode. All you've got to do is go down below this 1965 vintage Philco TV set, and there you should find a link that'll take you straight to the podcast and the episode. If for some reason you cannot locate that link on the device you're using to watch this video, no worries. I have other ways you can get there, which are also very easy. Number one, you can do this. Go to the podcast website, VietnamVeteranNews.com. Click on that URL and you'll be at the website. You can easily find 3241. And then, if you like QR codes, you're in luck. I've created a QR code just for this episode. So all you have to do is point your cell phone camera straight at this code and click on that one, and you'll be immediately taken to the podcast website, episode 3241. And you can listen to the story of two Vietnam buddies where one survived and one didn't, and the survivor remembers his fallen comrade to this day. It's a touching story. I highly recommend you listen to it. I'd also ask you to do me another big favor, and that is like this video, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. That would make this old Vietnam veteran very happy. So why don't you make us both happy? You can like this video, and you can also go over and listen to the podcast episode. That'll make us both happy, so please don't delay. Go over and listen to podcast episode 3241 at the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast. You'd make me very happy, and I think you would enjoy it. So with that, thank you very much for listening to this video. We will talk soon.